Hey guys, it's Mac once again here for Cheers, where everyone knows your game. I am super happy to introduce to you the gentleman behind the Rockfire Theatre group. They are local celebrities that are known for the production of their very fun and innovative shows. One, of course, being the Mr. Burns inspired Simpson show. Definitely really funny because you're going through a post-apocalyptic world where these guys are like entertaining people based off of The Simpsons, which is really cool. And then, of course, they did do their Santa Land Diaries, but the one that we are most excited about was mentioned by one of our former guests, Xena Zeitgeist. It was the D&D inspired show, We Hear You Have Goblins. I would like to introduce Matt Reed and Lynx Murphy. Gentlemen, welcome to the show. Well, guys, once again, we really appreciate you guys taking time out of your busy schedule. We know that you guys are doing a bunch of different things, but you were able to speak with us for a little bit. Can you please tell our audience a little bit about We Hear You Have Goblins? Because I love the idea of the show, but I'm going to muck it up. So can you give our audience kind of a brief overview of what the show is about?
Matt.
Basically, we play D&D on stage. We grab our friends who are local actors and dragon burlesque performers and get them to make up fantasy characters and play D&D or something like
we don't have the rights to D&D.
A D&D like
a homebrew system that resembles
D&D. But if you know D&D, then everything we do makes sense. We design a little module for them to play through. We get about 3 players, and me and someone else will play all the NPCs. And we basically just improv a D&D show on our feet in front of people.
The DM makes the rolls and kind of narrates the stories and keep things on track, and then the audience gets to fill in the blank. So if as the DM you don't want to make up the name of the town, the audience is too ready to name it. What was
usually something with poop?
Yeah, something poop. And then if they don't like a character or they love a character, depending, they can always throw money at the altar of fate to change die rolls to make sure people get the rewards that the audience feels they deserve.
That's so clever. That is so awesome. So with this particular show, like, I don't think I know of any other style show that does this the way that you guys do it. What gave you the idea for this?
I mean, at the time, we were doing, Rockfire was looking for small, little bitty theater projects like cabarets and one-offs that we can do with just friends to raise money to put on our big shows. Ironic twist of fate, that actually just became the
what
thing
we do.
what we do. No, but we were we're both D&D players or gamers. I had seen at cons some people putting D&D on its feet like a LARP almost, but in an improv setting for comedy to be the goal. And then we started coming up with our own system and how we would run it in the cabaret, and then friends of ours were doing something
a similar thing up in the Northeast. So we were like, okay, this can work.
Right,
there's nerds out there. There's a market for this. For this.
No, that's really, I honestly, we were speaking a little bit before we started the show, and me personally, I've never seen anything in the style that you guys have done, and especially the way that you guys have been able to leverage the show business-wise, and I think that's so clever and inventive, because I mean, it really is. It is difficult, I think, to be a performer, especially in New Orleans, and be able to monetize your performance in a way that is healthy for the troupe. I mean, sure, lots of people can just say, buy my merch or give me money, but you guys did it in a way that is organic and it feels good for the audience. So people want to, sacrifice to the altar of fate and donate and stuff like that. And I think that's great. Yeah.
Sometimes,
No, I just think it's
too much.
we had to change the rules. It became too much.
but no, I just think it is very clever and inventive, and I think that you guys are doing a service to the performers of your troupe, because I mean they're getting paid for their art, and that's awesome. Like I can't tell you how many artists that I've had the pleasure of talking to through this series of shows, and like in our personal conversations, they just kind of talk about like, man, I performed my heart out, and this is what they left me.
That's a
That's
real
not a
thing.
good
That's
feeling,
That's
it's
a
just
real,
not.
real
And
thing.
it shames. It's a shame. It sucks, man. But I really, really like the the method that you guys use, because once again it feels organic, it feels good, and like that's awesome. That's
It comes
awesome.
up like organically in the show because anytime we say, okay, and then this terrible thing happened, an audience member just raises a dollar bill and goes, or did he?
Yeah.
If the villain succeeded on a roll, we're like, okay, re-roll it.
Yeah, and I love it. Like you guys have basically substituted standing and applause with dollar bills, and that works. That's awesome.
Don't be
Well,
fooled.
yeah.
We want both. We expect both.
Yeah. No, you guys deserve all of it. Well, you mentioned earlier that you guys have played D&D. Have you guys always played tabletop games in the past?
I did not until we got together.
Yeah. Okay.
And a superhero game of Aberrant was my first.
Oh, from White Wolf.
Yeah, World of Darkness.
Yeah, dude, I totally remember Aberrant.
And I wasn't allowed to play such games because that was how the devil got you. I snuck the game in high school. I started with World of Darkness, like Vampire and stuff like that.
Oh, bruh, Vampire's coming out with some hot stuff this year. I'm so excited. We were talking to a couple of our other guests that are big World of Darkness fans like myself, and I played first edition. I was way back when. But they Renegade Game Studios is coming out with some really, really hot stuff. And then Werewolf 5th edition is supposed to come out this year, and I'm very excited.
That's my game. That's my game.
Like, yeah, oh my god, I can't wait. If they can pull back the original 5 games from White Wolf, the old World of Darkness, back into the new world, that'd be so cool. But anyways, I got to get back on track.
Sorry,
I'm so sorry. So with quarantine, obviously you guys have not been able to really do any shows in person. What about your gaming? Have you guys been able to game any during quarantine? Like, have you guys been doing Roll20 online?
That's all we have been doing.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So our fridge at the time has about 5 different campaigns, and like the next time that one's meeting.
Oh wow.
Most of which have been on Zoom, but we have had our little pod of about 7 people.
Okay.
And we actually just finished a campaign that was a little over a year, got us all the way to level 20.
1 to 20.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Was this I'm assuming for D&D?
Yeah.
Was it 5th edition or was it another edition?
5e. Oh,
5e.
Yeah.
So of course, what was the year-long campaign? What was it? A homebrew? Was it a module?
Oh gosh. So it was a homebrew, basically Disney Plus meets Into the Woods. So like everyone's story was real, everyone had their moment, but there was all this stuff that connected them. I don't know. It was like,
so it's all fairy tale characters, like after their fairy tale or based off of one. Mine was Captain Hook, like after he's gotten thrown off of the Jolly Roger. In the musical versions, that's what I know. We had a Cinderella inspired
a Cinderella, if you will.
A Little Mermaid who became a silent rogue. Hansel and Gretel, one character. Halfling who are always within 5 feet of each other. Rapunzel showed up. Hakeem,
the Sultan's basically Jafar, the Sultan's
The
vizier.
vizier. No, that sounds amazing. That's awesome. Did you write this? Was this all you?
Yeah, well, I mean, like the material was already there. I just borrowed.
No, that sounds awesome. Oh my God. After the show, I got to ask you some more questions because that sounds really, really amazing. So from these adventures, these gaming sessions that you guys played during quarantine, do you have any funny anecdotes that maybe you can share with our audience? Something that stands out for you guys?
Because there's plenty of goblins ones, but if you from this specific one, we got plenty too. I mean, like there was Hook got polymorphed into a fish, and someone read in the rules that if they take damage, they revert to normal, their normal state. So it was just picking the Hook up as a fish and banging up against shit until he turned back into it.
This was during a aerial broom fight against 3 witches.
Oh, wow. I'm trying to think of the theater of the mind on that one. All of a sudden, it's like, bam, ha!
Entirely.
Yeah.
He had a grappling hook arm, so it was dumb. The stuff we found.
What about for We Hear You Have Goblins? Do you guys have any family friendly anecdotes?
Yeah, no, all of them are pretty family friendly. Like Liza Minnelli is a character because she
lives in the universe.
She's a planeswalker.
Like Liza the performer or Liza from Arrested Development?
Yes.
Oh, okay, fair.
Yeah. Let's see what else.
We did a show previously that was a very like
unattended.
But also a very sweet show about like love and loss and very sort of nostalgic and heartwarming, but had puppets in it.
Okay.
And we never,
have a budget.
So I tell people at the start of Goblins episodes, I'm like, we spent literally tens of dollars on this show.
On our props.
But yeah, we had this dog that had to die in the play. And of course, we wound up using every puppet that we come across in Goblins somewhere, because that's another character. And this dog puppet showed up and of course died in the show. But that particular performance, we had like a lot of that cast in the audience or in the show. And there was a theme of "Let Me Call You Sweetheart," the song that was always sung during the show. So just without even prompting, that dog dies, and you just hear this chorus of "Let Me Call You Sweetheart" come up in the audience.
People were like literally crying. We just took your money. It's a scam. We took your money. Stop crying.
Oh, but I mean, come on. You killed a dog. That's rough. That is harsh.
That dog's perfect.
Did you say it's rough?
I mean, yeah, that was a little. Really, like I remember for us, and it's the same thing like with the dog dying in your performance. Like people are like, no, but like for us, we had a group of guys that were playing Pathfinder, and there was this guy who's like a real hard ass, and he's supposed to be like the crotchety old man, get off my lawn type of thing. But the players took it upon themselves. Like this was during like the Hellmouth had opened and like demons have like ran over the town, and he'd lost his wife and his grandchildren and all this other stuff. That's why he was so hard ass, right? So the players took it upon themselves to work with this guy, like to really like, you may not have a family anymore, but we're gonna be your family. It's like, no, I don't want any of this stuff. And the NPC was a throwaway character. It was like he gives this information and this information, and that's it. And they're like, he's a hard ass because of this, and this. Gives these 3 things of information, and you'll never see him again. But they kept coming back to the well with this dude. It's like, oh, we're coming back to the city. We're going to go check on him. And I'm like, why? I was like, no, we want to go check on him. And they made him like this real character that they cared about him. And I'm like, well, now I got to write stuff for this dude.
God, yes.
He became a real 3-dimensional character because they breathed, they put life into him, I'm like, That's cool. Where else can you do that? You can't do that with card games. You can't do that with tabletop miniatures. You do that with role playing.
Yeah.
I'm always fascinated when people have cool stories like that, you know. And like it's really nice that that gaming can influence and help in your professional career, which I think is so cool, you know. That's
Improv is like it's suddenly you're really good at acting if you're good at D&D. Really good at acting.
And then you understand things like story structure and foreshadowing and
exactly
the focus and all that jazz.
No, and like seriously, like that to me that's so cool. Because like professionals like yourselves, like you guys work in that. No, seriously. I mean, look, you get paid for it.
We're making
air quotes. This isn't visual.
You get paid for it. That means you're a professional. but like the thing is, like you guys have like honestly, in my eyes, you guys have like attained the dream. Like you're writing cool stories, you're acting with your friends, all the things that every tabletop role player wants to do, but you're getting paid for it. You know, like so cool. That's so cool. I can't not, you know, fanboy about how such a cool idea that is. I wish that I could do something like that. Like I'm terrible at all of the creative things. You give me like a task, I can do the task. You give me numbers, I can deal with the numbers. You give me a mop, I can mop. Past that, that's all my skills.
That's all you need.
That's all my skills. So okay, once again, you guys are professionals.
Dude, you said you pronounced it right with the fingers and everything.
As professionals, you guys have been gaming together, you guys have been laughing together, you guys have been doing all the stuff that the rest of us gamers really want to do. Do you guys, in your breadth of experience, have any advice for younger gamers who want to follow in your footsteps? They want to be able to write stories that they might be able to sell to get published, or maybe want to act out scripts in public. Do you guys, in your vantage point now, have any advice for the younger generation?
Find fellow nerds and hang out with them. Like the friends, like the friendship group, that's what gives you the I think like the motivation to continue to do it, and like, you know, the support you need to go forward with it, especially if you're like afraid of it. Like friend group is everything.
Mm-hmm.
And
that and just starting it. Like that sounds dumb, but there is severe like writer's block, like
right.
Any creative process. Just I need it to be perfect, so I don't know how to start it. That's a whole thing. I know I deal with that, but especially in things like tabletop and stuff. Especially when you're trying to write a thing, you never know where the players are going to take a story. Right. You can't prepare for everything.
Just go. Be dumb. Be dumb.
Both just put stuff down and go with it and embrace the chaos of it. Absolutely. Sometimes you just wind up with chaos, but there are definite times that the chaos breeds, lovely little nuggets.
You're right. There is beauty in chaos. Absolutely. Gentlemen, the last question I have for you guys tonight would be, the Rockfire Theatre group has used its position to be able to uplift other members of the community, which is just fantastic. You guys have been able to take actors, burlesque performers, drag performers, and everyone has an equal say at the table, which is really nice. And that is not the same for a lot of groups in our city. So what gave you guys to give that mission as your goal for your group? What inspired that?
Bad business practices earlier. Earlier incarnations of it was very like, theater is a business and we have to run it like a business. And it took the effing joy out of it. Like it became a thing where like, oh, we were barely making money and we barely afford to like pay really talented professionals who are doing us the favor. And then all
what they're worth.
What they're exactly.
Right.
Yeah. And then cut to a change of venue and just opening up and being like, we don't care what we make, let's just go have fun with this. And then all of a sudden it became a different beast altogether. So a different business model of do it because you love it, not because you're trying to make a buck.
Which is ironic because like even when we were more focused on like the big shows, like our sort of, we never really had a mission statement per se, but the working mission statement was just do good theater and have fun doing it. Boop.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Which, you know, there you go. But yeah, that, and you know, as we, you know, get older and learn things and learn what's more valuable, you know, maybe we direct our attention to that more.
Well, once again, everyone that I've spoken to, Xena speaks nothing but good things about you guys, and I love Xena. And everyone else that I've spoken to about you guys has had amazing things to say. I truly hope once the world comes back to a more normal and people get their heads out of their butts and get some vaccines in their arms and we can go back to a real life, I very much want to come and see We Hear You Have Goblins, because this show sounds so dope, and I want to be in the presence of this. I will sacrifice a lot to the altar of fate. I swear.
I know a guy, we'll get you in.
But guys, I want to say thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us tonight. If our audience wants to find more about what you guys are doing or some of your past work, where would they be able to find that?
Oh Lord, Facebook? No. So Zalia and the Always has been our home for like the last little bit, and so if we're going to show up anywhere, it'll be there. But Facebook really in New Orleans is kind of how people. So keep an eye on Rockfire's like very outdated Facebook, and we'll put something up.
Cool. Well, once again, links. Matt, thank you so much from our Go for Games family. We really appreciate you guys being here tonight, and we hope to see you guys soon. We'll definitely check in with you again once the world kind of comes back to normal. Hopefully we'll hear about some really cool shows that are coming up.
Awesome. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.